5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome on in to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. Yes, I hope you're ready for some Mad Max Fury Road. Yes, a little throwback episode of Mad Max, or of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, containing Mad Max Fury Road, okay? And because we had a very slow box office weekend this last week right here. It was like the second weekend of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I wasn't going to go see that again, and I wasn't going to go see some stupid independent movie from a film festival that's talking about how bad the white man is and all that stuff, So I mean, so a very slow box office weekend, I guess, is the point I'm trying to get across. So this week is one of my favorite movies we'll be talking about and getting all spoilery about and getting you all spoiled rotten. Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. So my movie maniacs, get ready, because there you are. Absolutely. So, and we are going to be talking about that. So get your live chat questions and comments and all that going on. Get them all ready and rocking and all that, because I want to see you guys in the live chat in YouTube and Rumble, particularly Rumble, because Rumble is the cool place to go, okay? And much cooler than YouTube. YouTube is like, the old a nasty house that you used to go to, like trick-or-treating on Halloween, that give out like dental floss. That's YouTube, okay? Rumble is where it's at. Rumble is the house that gives you like the full-size Snickers bars. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right. But hey, you know what? Let's get going here with this Movies Merica spoiler warning episode, but let me just set the mood.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Yeah, baby, yeah. Oh, sorry, you're still there. Oh, so, my bad. I was a little distracted there for a second. Okay, so, but hey, again, my movie maniacs. All right, yes, and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics, welcome on in. Come on into this Mad Max Fury Road version of Movies Merica's spoiler warning. Okay, and like I said before, getting that live chat. I want to hear from you. You can comment to me and say, hey, Van, you missed this part. I want you to talk about this part, or hey, remember that part where the guy took the chainsaw and he ripped that guy's head off? I mean, just like, let me know, okay? And let me know what you think about Mad Max Fury Road and all that. And I'm checking the live chat right now. I had Rumble, and Beer Drinking Trev's got the right idea, okay? He's already in here. He's our inaugural live chatter, okay? So he is in here, and he is just getting it done. He's a pioneer, all right? So let's see what he has to say. Beer Drinking Trev is, I'm about to get Furiosa up in here. Yep, and then Beer Drinking Trev, who wore it better, shaved head, Charlize Theron or Bruce Willis? Well, since I'm not gay, I'm going to say Charlize Theron. Okay, so there's some women just look gay. Let me rephrase. Some women just look good bald. I mean, they look better with hair, but they're like not a whole lot of women can pull off the bald look. She can. Demi Moore and G.I. Jane could pull it off pretty nicely. So I think the main bad chick in John Wick Chapter 2, didn't she have a bald? Nah, she wasn't bald. She had like blue hair or something like that. So anyway, but yeah, so to answer your question there, Beer Drinking Treb, Charlize Theron. Okay, so because she has to work pretty hard to look pretty bad. Okay, she has to work really hard. Okay, now it's probably going to get a little easier in the next few years. Oh, sorry, male chauvinist, right there. Here's my toxic masculinity coming out right there. But I will give it to Charlize Theron. She is not afraid to put on an ugly appearance, because she did for that movie Monster back in 2002, 2003, that she just happened to win a Best Actress Oscar for. So she had to get really ugly. Okay. to win her Best Actress Oscar right there. I guess that's usually the way it goes, right? You have to, you can't be looking smoking hot. You can't be a total smoke show when you win your Oscar. And so you have to be like Dove Soap's idea of beauty. Did you guys see that? So like Dove Soap, apparently, not to go off on a tangent too much, but yeah, Dove Soap's like, yeah, you know what? We're sick of women being objectified and women looking hot and being in bikinis and all that. You need to look more like Lizzo. Yeah, Lizzo, that's true beauty. That's get out of here, Halle Berry. Get out of here, Alexandra Daddario. That's not really real beauty. That's Lizzo. Lizzo, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's like, okay. So then, like I saw earlier today, like, so why is it when you call women, you tell them, hey, honey, you look like Lizzo. She's so beautiful. Why do they get mad? I don't get that. Okay. But this isn't Dove Soap spoiler warning. Okay, this is Movies Merica spoiler warning. All about Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, so, and Beer Drinking Treb says correctly, I'd still smash. Yeah, you know it. You bet. So, all right. Well, you know what? Let's get right into Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, and what I'm going to do, as I typically do, is I'm just going to go through just the plot of the movie, and that's pretty much just to give you a chance to live chat with me and let me know what you want me to talk about. Like I said before, let me know of a scene that you want me to talk about or a character, whatever comes to mind. Okay, go nuts, go crazy. Okay, this is your time, not just mine. Okay, this is your time as well. Okay, so and it's a good way to get me to shut up too. So you can just live chat on a question in there and I'll shut up. Okay, but yeah, so Mad Max Fury Road. It starts out, of course, showing Mad Max. And he's out there on the post-apocalyptic plains on his own out in the wilderness, all long-haired, and he's got his ride. He's got his car with him. And Beer Drinking Treb, I'll be your blood bag any day. Yeah, where's the Hallmark cards that say that right there? They're missing out. Yeah, so we have Mad Max, and yeah, they just paint this picture of like him being a total tough badass. Have this lizard or gecko or something that like make its way over by Mad Max, and he's got his back turned to the camera, and they show he's a badass because then he stomps on a lizard as if he saw the lizard the whole time. Like he has eyes in the back of his head. Okay. And so then they show him, he takes off, and then pretty soon you got all these war boys that are working for Immortan Joe, and they take Mad Max captive. Okay, and they take him into the Citadel, and they shave his head, and they tattoo him with all kinds of stuff, including his blood type and a whole bunch of other stuff that I forget what they tattoo on him. Okay, and he manages to escape. He manages to escape before they do all that to him. So then he cut to the title card, okay? And then you've got Immortan Joe. They introduce like the main characters, besides Mad Max. So you've got Immortan Joe, and he's apparently about to send Furiosa, played by Charlize Theron, the hot woman who looks good even though she's bald or has very little hair and has one fake arm or has a prosthetic arm. He's about to send her out to get bullets and gas, okay? And so they have this big ceremony where Immortan Joe goes up to the microphone and is like, I am going to release my Furiosa to Gas Town and to Bullet Town to get bullets and gas and blah, blah, blah. So basically like the Mad Max post-apocalyptic version of, she's going to Costco, okay? Going to Costco and buying in bulk, okay? And so Immortan Joe sends out Furiosa, who is like Furiosa's like the general, right? The military general. She is his Maximus, okay? General Maximus, okay? So, and this is, again, Charlize Theron playing Imperator Furiosa, the military general for Immortan Joe. And so then also, as part of that scene, you get to see like the inner workings of the Citadel, the location, the headquarters of Immortan Joe and all his subjects and whatnot, the war boys and the blood bags and the women that produce like breast milk for his children. I think they're literally called milkers. Okay. Okay. I guess which makes sense. That's what they are, right? They provide milk. Okay. So, I guess he didn't want to call him Anderson Erickson or anything like that. So, but yeah, so you get to see the inside of the Citadel. It's got this greenhouse and all these big gears and pulleys to work to lower, raise and lower this vehicle elevator that they got. So it's it's pretty high tech, for a post-nuclear apocalypse setup there. And so then, so Imperator Furiosa, she's in her war rig, the big semi truck, with the extra gas tank and all that. It's fortified against attacks and that kind of thing. So they take off to Gas Town or Bullet Town or whatever, or post-apocalyptic Costco. And so she is on her way. And then I believe like they cut to the road with Furiosa, and she's got like her military entourage. She's got like her right hand man. It's I guess like her colonel or something like that. That is her right hand man, and then all her soldiers are up on the war rig to keep all the other baddies off their ass while they're driving the war rig to get some gas and get some bullets and that kind of thing. And then the whole time they're being watched by one of Immortan Joe's sons, like this little person, right? Okay, he looks like he's definitely the product of some bad birth defects. Okay, mommy was sucking on a crack pipe, or swigging her coffee with fentanyl or something like that, So I mean, these are not the best living conditions, in this post-apocalypse, for having healthy, normal babies, I guess. So we got, you got this little person that's one of Immortan Joe's sons, and he's looking the whole time, and he's got this telescope, and he's monitoring what Furiosa is doing, and so he's under the impression that she's going to go to Gas Town to get some gas. Well, she decides to take a little detour. She takes a hard left towards Nowhereville. Okay. And of course, she's like, "Oh fuck! Like, what's going on?" Hey, Dad. Furiosa. Yeah, she was supposed to go to Costco, but it looks like she's. I don't know where she's headed. I don't know if she's going to Target or Walmart or where she's going. I have no idea. Where's she going? And then it soon, and then Immortan Joe, he puts two and two together because this guy's no dummy. Okay, Immortan Joe is, he's old and fat and can barely move and gross and whatnot, but. He's got more than two brain cells to rub together in that nasty, grotesque face that he has, and so he puts two and two together. He's like, holy shit! I think some ruckus is afoot, and so he goes and he starts suspecting that she might have taken off with my 5 wives, and of course. If you've seen the movie, you know that he's got these 5 wives that pretty much look like Victoria's Secret models in the apocalypse. So Immortan Joe he's sitting pretty. Okay, all right. He is he's got it pretty good. All right. So no other dudes in the post-apocalypse is rolling with 5 Victoria's Secret models. Okay, so if you're going to be a post-apocalyptic warlord, make that one of your top priorities. Have some Victoria's Secret models. Okay, so. People are yelling at, "Oh my God, Van! Now I know what you would be in the post-apocalypse. Oh my God, you evil son of a bitch!" Hey, got to be honest with you, okay? All right. And while I'm being honest here, got to grab a swig here. All right, a little swig for the working man. Stealing that from my boys on Geeks and Gamers. Let's check out the old live chat here, and but Beer Drinking Trev is putting in. The Lord's work over here. So he says, smarter than Sleepy Joe. Isn't that the truth? Okay. It's that's not saying much right there. It is just, I like that constant look that Joe Biden has, even more lately, that pissed off look, when because we've been seeing him have some commencement speeches and that kind of thing, and he's just sitting there like it's like, what? Is he trying to look badass, or does he just realize like what a dumbass he is, and he's kind of pissed off about it, So, but anyway, but this isn't politics. Spoiler warning. So I'm not going to dwell too much on that. But so Immortan Joe realizes something is rotten in Denmark, so he runs down to his quarters, his palatial estate deep within the Citadel. And quickly realizes, like, holy shit, my Victoria's Secret models are gone. They took off on me. What the hell? Like they're not digging my vibe anymore. My 415 pound fat, nasty old diseased body, I guess isn't doing it for him anymore. So I guess they took off. I guess they just don't want to be used as breeding devices, or pleasure receptacles. It is pretty gross. So what he's doing with them, so yeah, I wouldn't blame him. Like, get the hell out of there, okay? Move on to greener pastures. And so apparently they got tight with Furiosa, and because if you read some of the lore of Mad Max, I guess Furiosa wanted nothing to do with them at the beginning, because Immortan Joe, I believe, entrusted her with the protection of his 5 wives some point down the road, or in the past. And so initially she was like, you know what, I don't like you guys. She was like jealous of the fact that they get to live in a lap of luxury while everybody else is suffering in the apocalypse. And she had no time for him whatsoever, no sympathy whatsoever, because I'm assuming they were probably kept coming to her. They're like, oh man, we have it so bad, kind of like how you see here, like all the spoiled, rotten, bitches here in America, nowadays. It's so bad in America, it's so terrible. Oh my God, they messed up my foam and my latte at Starbucks. Oh my God, and they didn't have that dress on sale that I wanted. Like, just. And, the kind of stuff where, like, people in poor countries in our world would see people bitching about that, and they'd say, fuck you, shut up. So Furiosa probably had that vibe going on, like, shut the hell up, okay? There's people out there that haven't had water in days, or kids are dying, and you're in here living your sweet Victoria's Secret model life, drinking all the water, got this fresh air, all the food you could want, just because you won the good looks lottery, okay? And then eventually, I guess, she started getting past that and developing affection for them, okay? And then eventually she either convinced herself or they convinced her, like, all right, yeah, this is a terrible situation we're in, okay? And we need to get the hell out of here. And so I'm sure Furiosa was like, yeah, you're right, we need to get out of here. So Immortan Joe is quickly realizing this is the situation. And someone has taken his Victoria's Secret models, all right? So, and now he's got to settle for his Fredericks of Hollywood models. No, he doesn't have any of those either. So he quickly realizes this is what's going on, and so he rallies his troops. He's like, holy shit, like, I got to get my army together. And so that's when you see all the war boys. They're scrambling, all over the place to get their steering wheels off the altar of the steering wheels, okay? And they're making their, their logo, which signifies it's like their V logo for a V8 engine, and so that's what the significance of that is. And if you watch my spoiler for review on a Sunday about Mad Max Fury Road, you would know that, okay? So, or maybe you already knew that already, but. So point is, war boys are scrambling all over the place, getting ready to hit the road to go chase down Furiosa that took off with Immortan Joe's wives. And then that's when we meet Nux. And Nux is a war boy, and he's I believe what they call like a half-life or something like that. I may have the verbiage wrong, but he's not looking too good. He's sitting around. He's getting a blood transfusion. And he's not looking so hot. Okay. And I guess his partner, who's his gunner or someone down on his car, is rushing to grab Nux's steering wheel. So this guy's like a treacherous, traitorous son of a bitch. And he's taking off. He's trying to take off with Nux's steering wheel. It's Nux's steering wheel because Nux drives the car. And so then Nux realizes what's going on. Like, yo, motherfucker, you're like, that's my steering wheel. Like, get that back to me, okay? I'll take the wheel. And then we see that Mad Max is going to be used as the blood bag for Nux, okay? And that's what Nux's case is like. Hey, I can get my car, I can be part of the chase because I've got this guy over here, I got Mad Max over here, and he's my same blood type, and I can use him as a blood bag on the chase. So he gets a steering wheel, okay? And Morton Joe's troops, they gas up, they gear up, and they hit the road. Okay. And let's check out the old live chat here. Beer drinking Trev. Yep, he's putting in work. You got hashtag Big Tits Matter. That's true. That's true right there. So, yep, there's nothing more American than that, So, and that comes into play with this movie because you've got the women that are considered the milkers, right? They're providing the breast milk right there, So, because they got milk, right? Got to have the milk mustaches here in the post-apocalypse as well. All right, so. Okay, well, before I move on here with the rest of the movie here, just let me tell you all about tdpn.locals.com. You see it up there at the very top, all right? And we've got, here, let me throw that down here at the very bottom. Yeah, tdpn.locals.com. I'm trying to get this out there for you. I want you to see tdpn.locals.com as much as possible. And so what that is that's our website where me and Ian and Shawn, we have all our content, our blogs, our videos, our articles, all about everything from movies, entertainment, TV shows, hot button issues, political issues, just all the controversy out there. You're going to get drink recipes out there. Shawn recently had a recipe for the best old fashioned that you can imagine. Okay, out there. And so you're going to get content out there that you won't get anywhere else, okay? And so right now, if you go there and just put in the promo code TDPN, then you're going to get to see it for basically get to use this site for free, okay? And right there at the very bottom, right there, I just want to make that pointedly clear. You just got to put in promo code TDPN at tdpn.locals.com. Get yourself one free month of membership there. Then after that, it's only $3, okay? $3. It's nothing, okay? I mean, you might not be able to rent Mad Max Furry Road. I think that right. Furry Road, Mad Max, not Mad Max Fury Road, but Mad Max Furry Road. You might have to go 1 month without renting that for $3, okay? And use that $3 instead on tdpn.locals.com, or maybe buy one less box of Hot Pockets, okay? So, and just go out there, check that out. And you know what? Here, I'm even going to show you my screen here. So let's go ahead and just take a looky-see right here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So let's get on down here. And so, here we've got tdpn.locals.com right here. And right here at the very top is a idea or an example of what I'm talking about. This is content that you're not going to get anywhere else. Okay, and this is Movies America Mad Libs, as you can see. And just to give you the quick rundown as far as what Movies America Mad Libs is obviously I go over movies, okay, and obviously what are part of movies, scripts, right? Okay, well, right here. I am writing a script, and as you can see right here, this is scene 1 of the script, and we're fading in. It takes place at this old Boondocks Irish pub in the daytime, okay? And we've got our characters right here, because obviously every script's got to have characters, right? And so the whole idea is I'm writing this script with these 3 characters, okay? And I am writing the first few lines right here, you see it right there. I got the first few lines, and then if you're a tdpn.locals.com member, or if you put in that TDPN promo code to get 1 month, okay, you can get in here and you can add lines to this script, okay? And me and Shawn and Ian, we're going to have to play these characters right here. Losing my mouse over here. We're going to have to play these 3 characters, okay? We're going to flip. We're going to pick out of a hat, and then each of us are going to have to play one of these characters. We got Holster McKenzie, a 54-year-old, hard as nails, blabbermouth, balding hitman. And we got Patsy Penicillin is a frumpy, bleach blonde, 58-year-old hairdresser / whore. Okay. And then finally, we got Nigel Nightworm is a not so bright, bone thin British 59-year-old with long gray hair who was a once promising punk rocker. Okay. So we've got these 3 characters, and me and Ian and Shawn, we're going to have to play these characters. And that gives you the golden opportunity to get in here and write the next lines to this script. And you can make them as embarrassing for us as possible. Okay? All right? Do your worst, as they say in the movie Spaceballs. Okay? So you got to get in here and get these lines in here. Okay? And then what we're going to do is on a future Movies Merica spoiler warning episode, we're going to do a live read. Me, Ian, and Shawn are going to do a live read of the lines that you write. Okay, and we're going to have to read them as the characters. Okay, and you can join in. And this will be available. This show will be available for everybody, okay? And you'll be able to laugh your ass off and go, you suck at acting there, Van, because I do suck at acting, okay? And and maybe I'll have to play Patsy Penicillin. I don't know, and I'm gonna have to come up with my best whorish voice when I play that, okay? So that's Movies Merica Mad Libs, and you got all kinds of articles here, okay? So here's the very show you're watching right now, okay? And get into this website and check that out, all right? Again, TDPN promo code. Get there, and you can get that 1 free month of membership. And that is that right there. Okay, so let's get further into Mad Max Fury Road. Not Furry Road, Fury Road. Okay, don't get excited. This isn't Furry Road. This is Fury Road, okay? We're going to keep it somewhat clean here in this episode, okay? So where were we? Okay, so Immortan Joe, the main baddie in this movie, he's realized that, his Victoria's Secret model wives are gone, and they are chasing down Furiosa, okay? And so quickly, Furiosa and her henchmen quickly realize, we're getting chased by our own guys. Like Immortan Joe and his army, who we're a part of, are chasing us down. Why are they chasing us down? Okay. And then that's when Furiosa's right-hand man, her colonel, so to speak, realizes what she's doing, and he turns on her, and she takes him out. And then, and this is after, actually, I should back up a little bit. This is after they've had some enemies. I think they're called buzzards. These other humans in the apocalypse called buzzards. They realize, hey, what's this war rig doing in our territory? Okay, and they attack the big rig. So you get this really cool action scene that shows you like what you're in for the rest of the movie. Okay, like explosions and all this cool stunt work and that kind of thing. You got guys get shot with crossbows and big blades on these cool post-apocalyptic vehicles and that kind of thing. Just gets you warmed up. It's like the appetizer to the main course, right? And so they get attacked by the buzzards, and they basically keep the buzzards off their tail. They kill all the buzzards, right? Okay. And this is actually the first time you get to see the war boys do this tradition where the war boys, they believe that if they die in the service of Immortan Joe, that they're going to go to Valhalla. So they're like Vikings, okay? I don't know how they got to that lore. I'm guessing maybe Immortan Joe, his ancestors were from Scandinavia or something like that, and he was a big fan of the Vikings, because Immortan Joe, just to give you a little backstory in the lore of Immortan Joe, is he was around before the nuclear apocalypse, okay? And he was a colonel, okay? He was in the army, and he was fighting in the war for oil, okay, that caused the nuclear apocalypse. So he had some standing in the world before the nuclear apocalypse. And so he brings that into the post-apocalypse. And so then I believe most likely what happened is he was a big fan of the Vikings, or he heard about the Vikings or something like that, and their Valhalla lore and that kind of thing. And he brought that into the post-apocalypse. And then when he started his cult, and he cultivated these war boys and he recruited them and that kind of thing. He like a lot of good cult of personalities do. They're like, hey, if you serve me, you get this great reward in the afterlife, and then we're going to call our afterlife Valhalla. We'll call it Valhalla, yeah. And so we get to see our first instance of a war boy getting wounded pretty bad. He gets like a couple of arrows like right in his face, right? And he realized, okay, this is not going to end well for me. Okay, there's no intensive care units or anything like that. No ambulance is going to come by anytime soon. And so he's like, all right, hey, I'm gonna be a martyr for Immortan Joe. I'm gonna write a one-way ticket to Valhalla. Okay. And so he's probably hearing, the Led Zeppelin Immigrant Song in his mind, and so what we see him do is he takes like this chrome paint and he like starts spraying his mouth, and he gets all chrome, and he's like, he starts screaming, witness me, witness me, witness him, like, become a martyr in the service of Immortan Joe. So I guess you have to be witnessed being a martyr to get into Valhalla. And they also talk about like the war boys. I mean, they always talk about being shiny and chrome. And so they're spraying this chrome, paint on their mouth. And from what I gather, chrome is like Australian parlance for like getting high off of any kind of substance. All right. So if you're getting chromed or you're chroming, you're getting high. Okay. So that's crazy Australians, in the weird lingo. So he's getting shiny and chrome. He's spraying his mouth with this chrome paint, which backstory is that shiny chrome paint in there is actually it's chrome cake frosting is what that is. Okay, it's what in real life. Okay, and interestingly enough, the word got out that that's what it is. That's what they used in this movie, and so the company that made this chrome cake frosting that the actors are using, their business boomed after this movie. Okay, so the chrome cake frosting, the spray cake frosting, they were making money hand over fist after Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, so but anyway, so this guy he gives his life up as a martyr in a really cool scene where he takes like a couple of rods with like explosives at the end of them and lands on this vehicle and explodes. And just to let you know, so Mad Max is right on the front. He's like locked on the front of Nux's car as his blood bag, and Nux's car with Mad Max locked to the front of it happens to be right next to the car that explodes, and so you get a really cool shot of Mad Max strapped to this car while this explosion like happens right next to him. So but basically he's not hurt. Okay, so we can't have our main character die in the first act, or the beginning of the second act in this case. Okay. And so that all happens. The buzzards get buzzed off. Okay. And then after that, like I said, Furiosa, Charlize Theron, Furiosa, her right-hand man, realizes, hey, Furiosa, you're trying to take off. You're up to something. Okay. So he starts trying to take over the war rig, and she takes him out. And then we get our first big chase scene. Okay, so the chase scene is it's on. It's getting kinetic and action packed. Not quite as action packed as that Prince Harry Meghan Markle chase scene. The big dangerous chase that they had in Manhattan, like what was it today or yesterday, where they pretended, oh my God, we were getting chased down by all these paparazzi. We almost died. We had to swerve around all these cars. There's all these near misses and all that. Oh my God! It turned out it wasn't anything like that. Okay, so so this chase, I guess, and Mad Max Fury Road, I guess, isn't as bad as that. Imaginary pursuit that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle went through. But I digest. Okay. So we've got Immortan Joe and his army. They catch up to the war rig, okay, and they're trying to take out Furiosa and save the five wives. And so then after that, they start heading into this big dust storm, okay. And I forget what they call. I think it's called like a toxic storm is what the verbiage is for the movie. I think that's like the verbiage that they have in the script. They call it the toxic storm. So this massive dust storm, okay, and it's got all these tornadoes in it, and there's really cool coloring and stuff like that, and that's what George Miller wanted. Like when you watch this movie, you see that dust storm, you see all the tornadoes within it, and all the colored lightning and shit. That's what George Miller wanted, because he realizes that most post-apocalyptic movies, the colors in the movie are all washed out and kind of bland and almost black and white, okay? And he wanted to stand out from them, so he wanted Mad Max Fury Road to be as colorful as possible, okay? I guess maybe he's a big fan of the 90s band Color Me Bad, I don't know, but he just wanted like a lot of color, and he gives it to you, right? And when you watch this movie, you're like, holy shit, that's a lot of color, okay? I'm like looking at a box of crayons right here, but it's not too much, okay? It's not too much. It works out just beautifully. And so Furiosa in the war rig and Nux with Mad Max strapped to the front of his car and some other of Immortan Joe's soldiers, they drive into this big toxic dust cloud, big dust storm with all the tornadoes and stuff. And you have like this really cool scene where the dust storm picks up, the vehicles of the bad guys and whatnot, and these cars are getting just thrown up in the air like they're nothing, like they're drinking straws, And of course, amazingly enough, Nux's car doesn't get picked up, and the war rig doesn't get picked up, by the tornadoes, So kind of suspension of disbelief. But that's the thing about this movie. There's a lot of suspension of disbelief. Okay, it's not quite, Fast and Furious movies suspension of disbelief. Well, maybe it's right there. Okay, but you can't go into this movie expecting it to be a documentary. Okay, you can't expect Mad Max Fury Road to be this realistic. It's not trying to be. It's truly trying to be an escape, because that's what, at least for me, that's what movies are, an escape from the real world. Okay, we all get stressed out. We go through a world of shit. Well, I'm making everyone's lives sound depressing, but you go through some stressful times in your day-to-day life. You watch a movie to escape, right? Okay, kick your feet up on your couch and escape. Well, that's what George Miller is trying to do with Mad Max Fury Road. So reality is way right out the window. Okay, he's like, I'm not trying to be realistic, and so that's where this dust storm, this toxic storm, isn't realistic, because it's picking up all the bad guys, but not the good guys. Okay. And so then you cut to the war rig escaping from everybody as it goes further into the dust storm, and we fade to black. Okay. And with that, I'm going to fade over here to a little beer. Oh, yeah. Okay. Got to stay hydrated, man, because I'm putting in some serious work right here. Okay, I had to punch in, and whoo, this is hard work. All right, working here in the coal mines. Hopefully, I don't get the black lung. All right, so we got Beer Drinking Trev. Wanted to check out live chat. Beer Drinking Trev. Boy, is it depressing. Hopefully, you're not talking about your life there, Beer Drinking Trev. All right, I'm assuming that you're living in a gravy train on biscuit wheels, okay? But unless you're talking about the overall world right now, yeah, and if that's what you're talking about, you've got a point, okay? That's more of a point. That's more of a case to watch movies like Mad Max Fury Road, escape that reality, because it's good to be informed. It's good to be aware of the news and what's going on in the world and whatnot, but it's good for you. It's good for the soul to just escape. Okay. Now you used to be able to escape to the NFL and Major League Baseball and NBA without having to think about all that shit. But now they got all political. So now that's all gone for me. So I don't watch that shit anymore. So I watch movies. Okay. And I stay away from the movies that try to bring that shit into the movies. Okay. Like Mad Max Fury Road. Mad Max Fury Road just wants you to have a good time and make your eyes pop out of your head. Okay. Speaking of which, okay. So Furiosa gets away. And then we cut to Nux and Mad Max waking up because their car capsized because of the sandstorm, okay? And Mad Max wakes up first. He comes to first, and Nux is still out, okay? And so he's chained to the door on this vehicle. So Mad Max finds himself like he's trekking across the desert, and he finds himself, he happens upon the war rig with Furiosa, because apparently they had to stop and rest up or let the war rig cool down or something like that, And then Mad Max encounters Furiosa in the Victoria's Secret models, and then there's a fight, okay? Because he just wants a war rig for himself, okay? Because Mad Max is not like he was before the apocalypse, okay? Before the apocalypse, he was a cop, okay? If you watch like the very first Mad Max back in 1979 with Mel Gibson, you know that Mad Max, or Max Rockatansky, I think that's how I say his last name, was a cop, okay? But that's all gone, okay? To protect and serve, that's all out the window, okay? Now it's hey, take care of Mad Max, look out for Mad Max time, okay? And so he's trying to get the war rig and all its gas and all its water and all that stuff. Well, of course, Furiosa isn't going to let him take off with her war rig, right? So they have a fight, okay, and then Mad Max basically takes over. He gets the upper hand on him. Beer drinking Trev. He's mad because his wife and child were killed. Yes, exactly. Yeah, Mad Max's wife and child were killed in the first movie. So yeah, that's bound to if you're a happy-go-lucky kind of guy before that, well, that's all gone. okay, after your wife and kid get killed. So, yep, that's a good point. So, and so he's got no sympathy, even though these are women and they're trying to get away from this evil warlord and Morton Joe. He's like, I'm worried about number one. So he overpowers him. He gets in the war rig, and he quickly finds out that, I can't just start up the war rig. Furiosa has created this ignition switch sequence where you have to toggle these switches underneath the steering wheel just a certain way and a certain sequence, and maybe a couple at the same time, and that kind of thing. And so she's not about to tell him what the sequence is, okay? And she says, "Well, I'll let you know what the sequence is if you let us get in the truck with you." And so then at that, he's like, "Well, hey, you know what? We're just going to sit here, okay? Because of Morton Joe, he's got nothing against me. You're the one who stole his wives. I can just sit here and wait for them to come, to show up, and I could tell Morton Joe, hey, you know what? Hey, I made sure that they didn't get away from you. Hey, where's my reward, right?" Well, during the scuffle with the wives and with Furiosa, he accidentally grazed one of Morton Joe's wives with a bullet. Okay, I believe it was with a bullet. And so one of Morton Joe's wives is injured. Well, Furiosa says, "Well, you know what? Yeah, you would be, in the catbird seat waiting for a reward, but you injured one of his wives, and he is not going to be happy, even though it's a minor flesh wound. And Morton Joe's not going to care, okay? And he's going to dole out plenty of punishment your way." And so then that convinces Mad Max, okay, all right, Furiosa, you can get in. All you Victoria's Secret models, you gotta stay over there. Of course, at that, I was like, "What are you talking about? These are Victoria's Secret model looking women," So that's how I was thinking, though. I mean, not really pure of thought, right? So. Hey, if he forms a colony, you're gonna need to reproduce, right? And then and have a colony of good people, right? So it's to counter Morton Joe's evil people. That's all I'm talking about. So. But she's she's like, "Well, no, they're coming with me. If I don't go, if they don't go, I don't go, and you're gonna get punished by Morton Joe there, Mad Max." So that tactic works. They all get in the war rig, and they take off. Well, it turns out Beer Chicken Trip, now he's horny Max. Yeah, he's horny to the max. So, but apparently in that scene there, Beer Chicken Trip, he was I guess he's still too tore up about his wife. Okay, he's tore up from the floor up, as they say, right? About his wife and kid here. So pardon me. So yeah, he's they might as well look like Lizzo. I mean, from his standpoint. But they get into the war rig, they take off. Well, lo and behold, we see our good buddy Nux, the war boy, and he has made his way to the war rig, unbeknownst to Mad Max and his lovely new entourage that he's got. Okay, and he climbs on the back of the war rig, and the war rig starts trekking out. Okay, well, so Furiosa in the war rig, she makes her way to the canyons, I think is what the area is called, where these these bikers, these guys on the motorcycles, okay, they're there to meet her to, I believe, provide her with more gas or something like that. So some much needed supplies for the journey. And so they stop there in between the canyons, okay, and so before they stop the war rig, they have to get through this very thin tunnel with this big canyon right above it, where only one vehicle at a time can make it through. Okay, and if it's obstructed, you're screwed, right? And so they get through that. Okay, that, I guess, tunnel. We'll call it a tunnel. Okay, Furiosa and the war rig get through that. They stop. She's communicating with the biker gang, for lack of a better way of putting it. Say, "Hey, I'm here. Meet up to your end of the deal. I've got some gas for you here." That's what it was. She was going to provide them gas. That was her part of the bargain, and that was her price she had to pay to get access through the canyons. Okay. Well, so the motorcycle gang, they look back and they can see that Morton Joe is headed their way. Okay. And they apparently they didn't know about that. They didn't know that she did something to get a Morton Joe on her ass. Okay, and this motorcycle clan, they don't want any part of Morton Joe. They don't want a Morton Joe on their ass. Okay, this guy's very powerful. Morton Joe's very powerful. He's like the most powerful warlord out there. And so they realize like what she's done, and they're like, "What the fuck?" Like, so they start attacking her. Okay, and so their deal goes right out the window. Okay, and so then now Furiosa and Mad Max, they have to fight off this motorcycle gang. All right, and I know there's a better term for what the hell they are, but they rule the canyons is the point I'm trying to make. And so they get away, and then somehow they. The motorcycle gang, I think, is who does this. They collapse some rocks into that tunnel so that nobody can get through it. Okay, I guess they're trying to buy themselves some time. And so after they do that, they go chasing the war rig to take Furiosa, Mad Max, and the Victoria's Secret models out there. And they get and Furiosa and Mad Max, they fight them off. Okay, and they move on with their journey. Okay, so then and Morton Joe and his army, they get to that tunnel that now they can't get through because it's been blocked with all these rocks, these boulders and whatnot. So they basically managed to get some boulders out of there. And they got this big old monster truck, vehicle that they ride over the boulders with, and they make it through the tunnel. And Morton Joe is driving the big monster truck, so it's like Sunday, monster truck rally here in the post-apocalypse. Hey, bring your kids, all right, free drinks for the ladies. Okay, so it's a monster truck rally here in the post-apocalypse with a Morton Joe at the wheel, and so he goes after Mad Max and Furiosa and that kind of thing, but because he's slowed down, the war rig is way ahead of them. Okay, they got quite the head start now. And so that gives us a little time for a little tension release in this movie, okay? Because this movie is pretty much balls to the wall action. It's nut to butt action, okay? Well, let me rephrase. It's just balls to the wall action. If I say nut to butt action, you might be thinking maybe this is Mad Max Furry Road. It's not that, okay? So it gives us a little time to get a little character development with Furiosa and Mad Max. And in the Five Wives, and they're in the war rig. They're driving along. It's nighttime. They're going through this swampy land with these creepy swamp creatures up on their stilts and whatnot, so Mad Max is, I think, at this point, like Furiosa is trying to get Mad Max's name, and at this point in the movie, nobody knows what his name is. Okay, and then the Five Wives, they're talking about what a Morton Joe has done to them and why they got out of there and that kind of thing. And then I think Furiosa kind of gives a little bit of her backstory as far as how she came to be with the Morton Joe and that kind of thing. And so we get to learn a little bit more about them. Well, before long, they get stuck. Okay, they get stuck in some swampy mud. Okay. And they need a little. They need to get a little. They get a little winch going on. They need to get stuck out of there. Okay, but hey, before we get too stuck within the synopsis here, let's break it up a little bit with a little brew review time because you know what? I'm getting a little thirsty. All right, everybody. Okay, so. Today's brew is a little Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, okay? And this bad boy is out of Chico, California, which I think is right by San Francisco, okay? So our tonight's beer is out of the People's Republic of California, okay? But don't hold that against this beer, okay? This beer is pretty good, okay? And that's really my review for it. It's pretty good, okay? I don't give an endorsement to every beer that I review here on the Movies Merica episodes, okay? Some of them aren't so great, and I don't get any money from any of these breweries, okay? But yeah, it's like an American Pale Ale, and it's crisp and clear, and I'll tell you, it hits the spot on a hot day, or when you're slaving away on a live stream here on YouTube and Rumble. It's tough work. It's tough work, okay? And but Sierra Nevada, it's a common brand. I'm sure you get it at your local grocery store. This isn't some underground, craft brew that you can only get, in 3 counties in the world or anything like that. It's not that. So yeah, you can definitely check this out. So as I'm showing it to you, a lot of you are probably like, oh, I know what Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is. I've had it a bunch of times right here. And well, I'm about to have it one more time. So let me take a tug off this bad boy. Oh yeah. And they don't have this in the post-apocalypse, okay? So, and Morton Joe, you had it good in your Citadel with your sweet swanky digs, but you don't have the pale ale, okay, from Sierra Nevada. But yeah, and in the off chance you can't get it, you can go to like gopuff.com, or I think drizzly.com is a website that you can get beer that you don't have in your area. But yeah, check it out. All right. So, and with that has been Brew Review Time. All right. So let's move on with Mad Max Fury Road, okay? And again, hey, everybody, get in that live chat, okay? My man Trevor, Beer Drinking Trev, he's in there. He's putting in work, okay? But we need people in there to join him. Not that I don't appreciate what he's doing, but you know what? I bet he's getting lonely in there, okay? We need other folks joining in. And you can chat, like live chat on YouTube as well. If you live chat on YouTube, actually, I can put your chat up on the screen. Okay, so hey, you know what? If you happen to know me and you know some deep personal information, hey, you can put a comment in there. And you know what? I have to admit, I am like Ron Burgundy with live chats. Okay, I probably could do a better job at looking at what I'm about to put up on screen before I do it. Okay, so I'm like Ron Burgundy and that Anchorman, like you put a live chat up there, Van will post anything. I think that was a dead-on impression of Catherine Hahn and Anchorman. Dead-on impression. I'll tell you. Man, am I good or what? But yeah, we got Beer Drinking Trev right there, and he's saying what is straight truth, holding down the fort, man, and I appreciate that, man. I'll tell you. It's, it does not go unnoticed. That is faux show. All right, so on with Mad Max Fury Road, not Furry Road. And so they find themselves, they being Mad Max, Furiosa, and the 5 Wives, okay, which sounds like a Aesop's fable. Mad Max, Furiosa, and the 5 Wives, or something out of Arabian Nights. But anyway, but I digest again. So they find the war rig is stuck in the mud, okay? And pretty soon, they start hearing gunfire. Okay, and the gunfire actually is coming from the leader of the bullet farm. Okay, and so as you would imagine, the leader of the bullet farm is a guy that with a lot of gun, a lot of weaponry, a lot of hardware, and he just starts shooting randomly in the air in the dark. It's nighttime. Okay, he doesn't know where he's shooting, and one of his henchmen wisely say, you wouldn't want to shoot into the wise, would you? And this dumbass is like, I'm just probing, and he's just shooting wildly into the air. And his henchman's right. He could hit one of Morton Joe's wives, but this guy's a dumbass, and he's doing that. Well, so the rounds start hitting around the war rig, right? And so Furiosa, the 5 Wives, and Mad Max, they start hitting the deck, right? And they're like, holy shit, And so at that, they bust out a rifle. And Mad Max is the first one to take a couple shots at this guy, okay? And he misses. So I think he realizes, okay, hey, maybe Furiosa is a better shot. This is her rifle, right? She's got it, zeroed in, and she's used this before, I'm guessing. So she takes a shot. She takes this motherfucker out, like right through the eyes or something, like right to his face. So she blinds this dumbass who's like doing the probing shots and whatnot, and takes him out. So then he gets pissed off, like, you blinded me. I can't see. They're holding up like a flare in front of his face. And he's like, and they're like, can you see it? Like, where's the flare? We're holding it right up in front of your face. I can't see it still. So he realizes, like, he's blind. And so he's not too happy about that. So he busts out like a 50 cal, or no, I think it's like a couple of MP5s, a couple of automatic machine guns there. He just starts firing into the night sky, And so at that, the urgency level goes from like 73% straight up to 100% for Furiosa and the gang. And so they're still stuck in the swampy mud, So then Nux has shown up by this time. They realize Nux is, part of their posse, okay? And so he's shown his allegiance. And so he's like, hey, there's a tree right up there, dumbasses. Why don't we take this winch on the front of the war rig and tie it to that tree? So they tie it to the tree. They use the winch to get the war rig out of the mud, okay? And so then they are on their way, okay? And they so then cut to the very next day, all right? And they eventually get to this antenna, okay? And you know what? Actually, man, I completely forgot about this other scene, okay? So before they even get to the swampy mud, okay? So I totally missed this scene. The Immortan Joe catches up to him, okay, and the fight is on, the chase is on, and he's about to like try to shoot the war rig, try to take out Furiosa, and one of his wives, who happens to be one that's pregnant right now, her name is like Precious or something like that. She gets out of the vehicle as she like shows. She kind of uses herself as like a human shield to shield Furiosa. And so, of course, at that Immortan is like, oh, my God, there's one of my wives, Splendid. That's her name, Splendid. And so he basically, because he's got holding like a 357 Magnum, he's like about to shoot Furiosa, shoot the war rig. And then Splendid acts as a human shield. So the chase continues. And then for some reason, like, Splendid is beer jerky trap. Of course she's Prego. Yeah, exactly. And so she's out on the outside of the war rig. Splendid, that is the Prego. Splendid is outside the war rig, and she falls off the war rig. And Immortan Joe sees this, and he tries to avoid hitting her, but too late. He hits her. Okay. And she goes under his wheels. She dies, okay? And he wrecks his vehicle, capsizes his vehicle, trying to swerve and not hit her, but he hits her, okay? And so then that all happened before they even get the swampy mud part and that kind of thing. So very tragic scene. He's and this is the first point in the movie where you realize you kind of see some emotion from Immortan Joe. And you start realizing he cares about his wives in some capacity. Now, common sense would tell you, like, well, he cares about them because he's lusting after them, okay? He's not in love with them. He's in lust with them. And or maybe he's got some genuine feelings. The way they portray this Immortan Joe character, I find it very hard to believe that he's that he's in love with them. He generally cares for them as people, as women, right? It's hard to believe that he doesn't see them as anything more than pleasure receptacles or breeding receptacles, so to speak. Okay, but he's distraught. Okay, and he's probably more distraught because she's Prego, she's pregnant, and he's just lost his baby. He's lost it, And so as part of that, they're able to get the baby out, and his doctor realizes that it was a son, but unfortunately his baby son was killed when his mother was killed. Okay. So again, we cut to the next day, and that's all gone on, and they eventually get to this antenna, right out in the middle of the desert, I believe is what it is, and they see a naked woman up at the very top of the antenna. Okay, and Mad Max wisely points up at this, and he's like, "That's bait. That's bait. Somebody's trying to draw us in." To trap us or something like that. And so then I think at that point, Furiosa gets out of the war rig and she starts exclaiming, hey, I'm Furiosa. I was, I was with the people of the Green Village, the Green Place or something like that. And lo and behold, the naked woman recognizes what she's saying, and she comes down the antenna. Okay. And, she greets Furiosa, and then turns out the naked woman's got her friends with her, okay, a bunch of like older women, okay, that are with her as part of this. I'm going to call it the Green Place Posse, okay, the GPP forever, the Green Place Posse, okay. And so it turns out the Green Place Posse is from the same place that Furiosa was kidnapped from, because the Martin Joe back in the day kidnapped her from this Green Place village, okay? And that's where she's been trying to get back to in the war rig with the 5 wives, is the Green Place, okay? And you can tell by the name, supposedly it's like, it's got green, right? It's got forests, it's got foliage, it's got crops, it's got all that, right? Well, got some bad news for you, Furiosa. These women from the Green Place, the GPP, the Green Place Posse, they proceed to tell Furiosa, no, this Green Place is gone. Okay, it doesn't exist anymore. It dried up, something to that effect, and we're the last of the GPP. So Furiosa quickly realizes, God, the place that I was trying to get back to is no more. And then they have like a highly emotional scene where she falls to her knees and she screams out, in agony, right? And this place that I wanted to get to does not exist, all right? And so some good acting by Charlize Theron. I mean, you see the good acting that got her the Best Actress Oscar for Monster back in the day. Well, then, at that time, it's time to go back to the old drawing board, okay? A new plan needs to be made. And so Furiosa is still under the impression, she's still holding out hope that there is a green place, maybe not her green place where she came from, but someplace, like some green place, further down the road in the direction that they're going. And she offers to Mad Max, hey, Mad Max, hey, you've been my BFF here for the last few hours, helping me get out of some tight jams here. You can come with us. All right. There's all these women and there's only 2 dudes. Put 2 and 2 together. All right. And Mad Max he's not having it. Okay. Again, he's still, he's still not horny Max, as Beer Drinking Trev says. He's not horny Max. He's like, well, I'll be fine on my own. Okay. I guess that's kind of you have to move the plot that way. Okay. We can't have, we have to have a little turbulence. We can have Mad Max go, yeah, sure, I'll go with you. All right. Get the condoms ready. All right. No, you can't have that. We have to show Mad Max as an honorable, upstanding dude. Okay. Where he's an honorable guy with this set of values. Beer Drinking Trip. It's like Mad Max tenant. Yeah. It's like a tenant. He's rules of life to live by according to Mad Max. Okay. He's got a code, so to speak. But so she offers to let him go with them. He's like, nah, I'm good. All right. So, of course, at that, Nux is like, all right, I got all these women to myself. All right. Maybe not the old ones, but like the young ones. All to myself. Okay. Hey, see you, Mad Max. See you. Wouldn't want to be you. But then they take off, okay, on some motorcycles. They leave the war rig, okay. And then Mad Max is there by himself, and I think he's kind of doing some doing some plotting and whatnot. He realizes, like, you know what? I can't let these women and Nux like go off in that direction. I know perfectly well that there's nothing out there for them. So they cut to him chasing after them on his motorcycle, because that's what Furiosa did. She left him a motorcycle with all kinds of supplies and that kind of thing, water and gas and all that stuff, food, rations, that kind of thing. And so, hey, they did him a solid, so he feels bad for him. So he's chasing him down. He finally catches up to him, and he levels with him. He's like, there's nothing in that direction. There's nothing. I guarantee if you go like 280 miles or 40 days that direction, there's still nothing but dust. Okay, dust and desert and sand. You're not going to find anything. But we do know that in that direction, we've got the Citadel, okay, with fresh water. It's the Citadel. It's sitting on top of an aqueduct or in a water deposit. It's got the green stuff you're looking for, the foliage, the crops, all that stuff. We know of a place that has all that stuff, and it's that way, okay? And he says that, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're going to have to go back the way we came, but once we get to the Citadel, there's no one to oppose us because the army is gone. The army is chasing us. Okay, there's nobody there but sickly war boys back in the Citadel. So if we can manage to get the Citadel, we'll be sitting pretty. We can take over that place. We can rule. Okay, and so Mad Max levels with him and it says, "Hey, it's going to be a tough day. I mean, we're going to have to go back the way we came, and that's where Morton Joe is at, right? That's where Morton Joe and the army is at. Okay, so we're gonna go through them, and now the idea is that he's hoping that they catch a Morton Joe and the army off guard. Okay, that's the whole idea. So does it play out that way? We don't know. So it may or may not happen that way. Okay, but before we get any further than that, okay, I just want to tell you all about a little Nature Clear. Yes, all right. So Nature Clear recovery powder is the name of the game, and I would not be doing you a solid if I didn't tell you all about Nature Clear recovery powder. Okay, and then what is it? Well, Nature Clear recovery powder helps you to recover from a hangover or outright not get a hangover in the first place. Okay, if you're going to go out and you know that you're going to have a whole lot of Sierra Nevada Pale Ales or something a little harder, like some Jack Daniels, some Jim Beam, some Woodford Reserve, something like that, some tequila, and you don't want to have to worry about a hangover. Well, all you got to do is take a packet of Nature Clear recovery powder. I forgot what the name of it was for a second, even though I got a banner right there for it. So Nature Clear recovery powder, and it just comes in these handy packets right here, as I'm sure you've seen handy packets like this of Kool-Aid and that kind of thing. Well, we got Nature Clear right here. Just dump this bad boy in like 12 ounces of water or, a bottle, like your typical bottle of water, bottle of Aquafina, whatever. Okay, shake that bad boy up and chug that bad boy down before you head on out to the nightclub to shake your booty and get your drinky on. So just grab this packet and pour that in there, okay? But if you're out there and you're like into your 14th tequila shot, you're like, oh man, I forgot to take my Nature Clear. What the hell was I thinking? That's it. I wasn't thinking, okay? Have no fear, okay? You are still in the clear. Once you get home, just grab your packet, all right? And just take it then when you get home before you go to bed. And you won't have to worry about a hangover, okay? So this is a product that you will actually use, okay? So because we want to come at you with a product that you will use, okay? We're not, promoting, Q-tips made out of with some weird grain or something like that. Or, hey, have you gone to shoelaces.com and get all the best shoelaces? No, we want to promo to you something that you will use. Okay. That will definitely help you out in a big way. Okay. And it also is recovery powder for smoking and vaping. Okay. So it's an all around tool. It's a Swiss Army knife of recovery. And so as you see there on the screen, if you go to the link in the description, the Nature Clear link in the description, you click there and you go to the website. All you got to do is pick what you want and then get that into the cart. And then in the promo code field, you just put in promo code MOVIES, okay? And you're going to get 25% off your next order there, okay, of Nature Clear, okay? So trying to do you a solid, the drunk life you save could be your own, okay? So get yourself some Nature Clear recovery powder. As you can tell, I've got mine handy right here, okay? It's better to have it, not need it, than to need it and not have it, as I always say. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so the rest of Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, so let's wrap this bad boy up. Let's complete this third act here. And so we've got Mad Max Furiosa, the Five Wives, and the GPP, the Green Place Posse, and they are headed towards the Citadel. So they're cruising. They're trying to hightail it there as fast as they possibly can. And they show a Morton Joe and his army. They're like chilling out. They're not on the main road. They're just kind of chilling out on a hill overlooking the road. And of course, they've got spotters, that are got their eyes on the road just to see what's going on. Well, one of their spotters spots the war rig headed, past them. And so Morton Joe, is told this, and he's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? And he puts two and two together, and he's like, oh crap, they're headed to the Citadel. Everybody get in your cars, let's go. And so then the chase is on. But because, the war rig and the posse has, they've got to jump on Immortan Joe in his army. They're obviously ahead of them on the road. And then this is when the absolute coolest part of the movie happens, because this is the third act, all right, the big finale. And you get Immortan Joe and his army like pursuing their ass, okay? And this is where you start seeing the cars. I guess they call them the polecat cars. You get the poles that are like swinging back and forth, and the war boys are jumping from vehicle to vehicle, and onto the war rig to try to take them out. So you've got war boys like hopping all over the place, and all these vehicles coming after the war rig, and you've got Tom Holkenborg's like his score to the movie, like just pumping. He's like, I mean, just this really badass score. And Tom Holkenborg, you might know him better as Junkie XL. He's like this dubstep artist out there, but he does movie soundtracks as well. Kind of like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. You know him better as part of Nine Inch Nails, but they do movie soundtracks as well. Deadmau5, dubstep artist, but they do movie soundtracks as well. But in this case, it's Tom Holkenborg, Junkie XL, doing the Mad Max Fury Road soundtrack. So, and the soundtrack is just making the car chase even that much more intense. And so then Mad Max is having to fight off the war boys, jumping on the war rig. He's taking them out, punching them out, and they got chainsaws, they got explosives, they got guns. They're trying to cut the tires and that kind of thing. And you've got you've got the guys with the bullet farm guys with their guns and that kind of thing. And they're shooting at the war rig. So it's just this nonstop chase. It's just straight up pure badassness going on. And then of course, this is another instance where we see what they've got the Doof Warrior. Okay, the Doof Warrior is the guy with no eyes. He's playing the guitar with the flames, popping out of the end of the guitar, the big old speakers and whatnot. And it's totally impractical for this post-apocalypse. I mean, it's definitely a big part of the suspend your disbelief. Okay, because it's almost like, okay, hey, where's there a guitar center in the apocalypse, right? Okay. And so that's where we see the Doof Warrior. He's part of the chase with his speakers, and he's like just playing some music to chase and kill people by. It's just totally metal chase. Okay, with he's rocking, he's blaring the guitar, he's melting faces as this chase goes down, and there's explosions and gunfire and people getting impaled with arrows and shit. It's just badassness, pure and simple. And as part of that, like I think like one of the GPP, the Green Place Posse, like one of the older ladies, like gets injured fatally, and then Furiosa gets not mortally wounded, but very critically injured. And so then with all the work that Mad Max is doing to kind of stave off the war boys and keep them from taking out the war rig and saving the wives and taking out Furiosa and Mad Max, he finally gets them off their ass, okay, and fights off most of Immortan Joe's army, and they get closer and closer to the canyons, okay, that we were at before, okay, and they've got. So it's Immortan Joe. Of course, he's still in the chase, right? Because that's how movies go, right? The main bad guy somehow makes it to the end where all his lackeys, get killed first, right? This is movies 101, right? And so then and Immortan Joe's got his one of his sons with him, and they're trying to get the wives and that kind of thing. And they get to a part where I believe this is like Immortan Joe, and in order to get Immortan Joe gets in front of the war rig. Okay, so obviously they have to get Immortan Joe and his big old vehicle out of the way, right? Okay, And I think at this point he's driving his big old, I think it's like not the War Pig or something like that, but he's got this big old vehicle made up like these like 1959 Cadillacs or something like that, right on top of each other, and that's what he's driving. And so he's out in front. He's in a position where he can block the war rig from getting through that tunnel that we saw earlier. Okay. And apparently they got all the rocks and all that stuff like cleared out of the tunnel. Okay. Now, so the tunnel is clear and unobstructed, but the war rig isn't getting through that when Morton Joe is in front of him, right? So Mad Max and Furiosa, they make their way off the war rig. Well, I think Nux is driving the war rig, and they get up to Morton Joe's vehicle, and basically in this great scene where Furiosa gets her ultimate revenge against Morton Joe. She basically hooks like a grappling hook or something like that to his mask, okay, and then she throws the chain hooked to the grappling hook into his tires, like because he's got these big 70-inch tractor tires on the back of this vehicle. She throws a chain, of course, that takes the grappling hook that's connected to a Morton Joe's mask and rips his jaw off and rips his throat out and that kind of thing. Obviously, instantly killing him, right there.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's pretty intense right there. But and so pretty soon he's crashed.
Crashed and burned, huh, Mav?
Yep. And so the big bad is gone. The big bad is out of the picture, and Morton Joe is dead. And so then they are so Morton Joe is dead, and Mad Max and Furiosa, they're in his vehicle. Okay. And but Morton Joe's big, bulky son, one of his sons, is still alive. And he is still in the fight. He's still trying to take out trying to take out Mad Max and Furiosa and the Five Wives as they're in a Morton Joe's big old cruiser, trying to make their way to the Citadel. And Nux is still on the War Pig, okay, or the War Rig, I should say. It's not Black Sabbath; it's War Rig, okay. And so then all the Five Wives and some of the GPP, Mad Max Furiosa, again, are all in a Morton Joe's vehicle. They're up ahead of the War Rig, but Nux is the only one that's behind, okay, in the War Rig. Well, Morton Joe's big, bulky is one of his big, massive sons. Okay, he's trying to take Furiosa and Mad Max out. Well, Nux, in a selfless act, takes out the War Rig. He swerves a War Rig right in front of the tunnel so that Mad Max and Furiosa and all those guys, they can make it through the tunnel before Nux swerves the War Rig, takes it out, capsizes the War Rig, and blocks off the tunnel so that no one else can get through it. Okay. And so basically he makes a selfless act. So he's got quite the character arc. Nux is who I'm talking about here. So Nux is from at the very beginning of the movie, he's like this brainless, overly loyal, blindly loyal to Morton Joe. And he gets from that part, his character arc takes him from that to actually falling in love, it looks like, with one of Morton Joe's wives. And who they show that, that they've got a connection and a relationship and that kind of thing. And obviously it would have continued if Nux hadn't taken himself out to, for the greater good, right? For the greater good to save Mad Max, Furiosa, the Five Wives, and the GPP. Okay. So we cut to them getting out of that sticky situation. Okay. And they get to they get to the Citadel, and they are sitting pretty. Okay. They don't know if they're going to be able to be greeted at the Citadel without being killed, but they know that they can do it. But they just don't know whether it's going to go bad, and they're going to have to.
No, God, please, no.
But they reveal Morton Joe's dead body, and with that, they instantly get the respect of everybody there at the Citadel. Okay, And this tells everybody at the Citadel that you know what, hey, these guys are no one to fuck with. Okay, these guys are the ultimate party. These guys are going to be running shit now. Okay, and so you get like the war boys that are still there. They lower the vehicle elevator, and instantly right there, everybody, Mad Max, Furiosa, the Five Wives, and the GPP. They're celebrating, right? Because yes, we made it to the Citadel. Soon we're going to be living like kings and queens right here. And they portray it like Furiosa is going to be, the head woman in charge now. She's going to be the queen of the Citadel now, which is fitting, right? Because she's gone through hell. She's been to hell and back and whatnot. And we have the rising, soaring Tom Holkenborg movies, Merica, Mad Max Fury Road score. And we just got this, one of the greatest ending shots of a movie is you see Mad Max. He's in the big crowd of all the post-apocalyptic crowd of people, and he's walking away because he chose not to stay at the Citadel. And he looks up, and you see Furiosa and the Five Wives. They're on the vehicle elevator, and they're looking down at Mad Max. You see the elevator go up, and then it just fades to black, and then that's the end of our movie. Very cool ending shot, and just the pinnacle of one of the greatest movies that you'll ever see.
That's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
No, I'm not going to go through all that again. But hey, you can watch the recording of this episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, okay? But yeah, let's check the live chat and see what we've got here. We've got Beer Drinking Trev still putting in some serious work, man. You're a trooper, man. You are a trooper. And he says, keep what you kill. Yes, exactly. So, because, yeah, right now, Morton Joe is pretty much roadkill. And then they do show that the post-apocalyptic crowd that he's been rationing water from, he's been keeping water from them, controlling the water. They basically, it looks like they tear him apart. Now, they don't show it in grotesque fashion or anything like that, okay? But yeah, it just doesn't end well for Morton Joe in this movie, which is fitting because the guy's an evil piece of shit. Okay, all righty then. Okay, so let's do this. All right, so a few weeks ago, I started doing this new segment that I do like to call the movie military moments. Okay, and what it is. I really appreciate our nation's military. I appreciate those men and women that have fallen to provide us with the country that we have right now. Okay. So, I mean, I know no matter how much a lot of spoiled, rotten, pampered people in this country dog it and act like it's the worst country in the world, we know it's the greatest country in the world. If you've ever gone to any other country in the world, then you know this is the greatest country in the world. Is it perfect? No. Has it got warts? Yeah, but what country doesn't, right? But we live in a great country, and it got to that part because of brave men and women giving that last full measure of devotion, okay? And they either get like a medal, some of them get a Medal of Honor, a Navy Cross, or Purple Heart, something like that. And so the recipients of those honors, they mean a lot to me, okay? And what they've done for those honors, to me, a lot of times I read them like, this could be a movie moment. Like, this could be one of the coolest scenes or coolest movies you've ever seen. And so I just want to give them a moment. Okay, give them their moment that they so sorely deserve. And what I call the movie's military moment. And before I do that, Beer Drinking Trev says, it's been a pleasure serving with you. Yes, exactly. So hopefully you're sticking around there, Trev, and that's not your way of saying you're going bye-bye. We wouldn't want you to miss the movies movies military moment. See, I can't even can't remember the name of the segment over here. I've had too many of these, and I've only had one. So what does that tell you? Okay. All right, let me get a big swig of this here before I get into this anyway. Oh, yeah. We got a system here, folks. We got a system here at Movies Merica Spoiler Warning Corporation. Okay. So let's get right into it. Hey, we even have some movies, military moments, mood music. Let's check it out. All right. And this week's Medal of Honor recipient is Staff Sergeant Salvatore Giunta. And he actually is from a town that I used to live in called Cedar Rapids, Iowa, okay? And let's read up a little about Staff Sergeant Giunta. Okay. Giunta was born January 21st, 1985, and grew up in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He was the oldest of 3 children in an Italian-American family. In 2003, Giunta, then 17, saw a recruitment commercial while working at a sandwich restaurant, and he decided to enlist in the Army. He went to basic training and was assigned to the 503rd Infantry Regiment, 173rd Airborne Brigade Combat Team, based in Vicenza, Italy. And in May 2004, during his first year-long combat deployment to Afghanistan, in March 2005, Giunta was shot in the leg and saw 4 fellow soldiers die after a roadside bomb went off. A little more than a year after returning from that deployment, Giunta's unit was sent back to Afghanistan, okay? So, yeah, back where he got shot, okay, before in the leg, all right? So they're like, hey, we're sending you back. Good luck, okay? Months into his second deployment to Afghanistan, the 22-year-old then specialist was acting as B Company, 1st Platoon's rifle team leader during a multi-day combat mission called Operation Rock Avalanche. Such a cool name for an operation. Rock Avalanche. On October 25th, 2007, the platoon was on a night patrol in the Korengal Valley, the most dangerous valley in northeastern Afghanistan. The soldiers were going single file down a steep rocky crest when they were ambushed by Taliban fighters, separating them from the unit's 2 other platoons. Giunta quickly ran for cover and started to fire back when he saw his squad leader get hit in the helmet and go down. Giunta ran toward the injured man, dodging gunfire to reach him and make sure he was okay. In the process, Giunta was hit twice. 1 bullet hit his body armor and the other splintered a gun strapped to his back. Despite the close call, Giunta continued to fire back and started throwing grenades so he and other soldiers could move slowly forward to reach their wounded comrades. When they made it to the injured men, Giunta realized that the point man of the platoon, his best friend, Sergeant Josh Brennan, was missing, so he kept going forward on his own. When Giunta reached the top of the hill, he saw 2 Taliban insurgents attempting to carry a severely wounded Brennan away. Giunta didn't hesitate and went after them, killing 1 insurgent and wounding the other, who ran away. When Giunta got to Brennan, he pulled his friend to cover and started giving him aid as the squad caught up to provide security. Giunta kept Brennan alive until he was evacuated off the ridge about a half hour later. But sadly, Brennan died the next day. Meanwhile, American air power was able to help in staving off the insurgent attack. Giunta's platoon then continued on its mission, despite losing 5 men to injuries and dealing with the apparent deaths of Brennan and Specialist Hugo V. Mendoza. 2 days later, Giunta learned he was being recommended for the Medal of Honor. On November 16, 2010, 25-year-old Giunta received the nation's highest honor at a White House ceremony, attended by many of the men with whom he had served, becoming the first living Medal of Honor recipient to receive the honor since the Vietnam War. Wow. Salvatore Giunta risked his life for his fellow soldiers because they would risk their lives for him, President Barack Obama said during the ceremony. That's what fueled his bravery, not just the urgent impulse to have their backs, but the absolute confidence that they had his. Giunta insisted he just did what any good soldier would do. In July 2017, he gave his Congressional Medal of Honor to the 173rd Airborne Brigade Combat Team during a ceremony in Vicenza, saying he wanted it to remain with them. "I'm not here because I'm a great soldier," Giunta said at the ceremony. "I'm here because I served with great soldiers." Giunta left the Army in 2011 and published an autobiography called Living with Honor. Check it out. In 2012, he's pursuing a business degree at Colorado State University and lives with his wife, Jennifer, and their 2 children. What a story, man. Salvatore Giunta, the first living Medal of Honor recipient since Vietnam. Incredible. And that has been our movie military moment for this week. So that is incredible. That's yeah. Hey, what have you done with your day? As I always say, okay. But yeah, just think about our brave men and women out there serving presently and in the past, especially those ones that have given their life, that have paid the ultimate sacrifice, and their families that have had to grieve and have lost them. Okay. All right. And right, hey, good to see Beer Drinking Trev sticking around here. Yes, and hopefully he liked that movie military moment. All right, so hey, right now I would like to go over, okay, because I want to go over like my top 5 post-apocalyptic movies, but I should let you know the ground rules as far as like what I consider a post-apocalyptic movie. Okay, now I don't just consider movies that are all about like a nuclear apocalypse and the apocalypse or the post-apocalypse after it. I don't consider just those post-apocalyptic movies. I think of those kind of movies as something like an apocalypse of any kind of grave nature. Okay, it was nuclear attack, virus, something like that. Okay, some big disaster in which there is a post-apocalypse now. Okay. So that's the ground rules. So just because, as I'm going to go through my top 5, I just don't want you guys going, hey, wait, that doesn't make any sense. This movie doesn't have a nuclear apocalypse. No, these are not post-apocalyptic times merely from a nuclear apocalypse like you see in the Mad Max movies. Okay, so with that, let's get into this. All right, it's got some pictures. We got some pictures here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And so I'm going to go in order. Okay. All right. So in my top 5, and starting with number 5 is A Quiet Place. Yes, The Quiet Place with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. And the inciting event, the inciting incident for this post-apocalypse is an alien invasion, okay? And obviously we're looking at one of the aliens right here. And if you watch A Quiet Place Part 2, you get a little bit more background as far as how the invasion all started, right? But in a Quiet Place, it just drops you right in the middle of this post-apocalyptic world, okay, where the alien invasion, it's been some time since then, and it's John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. They play husband and wife. And they've got several kids. And the whole idea is these deadly, killing aliens, okay, these murderous aliens are attracted to sound. And even the most slight of sounds will attract them, okay? You step on a leaf, a twig, you let out a little, little cough or something like that, they hear it, and that attracts them to you to kill your ass, okay? And so, hence the name of the movie, A Quiet Place. Everyone, you got to be very, very quiet, okay, to keep these aliens away from you. And I just like it just because it's John Krasinski, stars in it. He also directs the movie, and he just does a masterful job at building up the tension. And the whole plot device of having to be quiet is a perfect way to have all this tension in this movie, because if they so much as sneeze or cry or step on a twig or something like that, like they're going to have these monsters like whoosh right on them, right? To tear their ass limb to limb, okay? And the movie sets the tone right at the very beginning with just this terribly tragic scene that happens. And I'm not going to spoil it. You definitely got to watch it. Now, the reason I picked A Quiet Place over A Quiet Place Part 2 is because I think this one has a little bit more emotion in it, just because you've got the whole family together, and I like John Krasinski as an actor, and so I'll just leave it at that. But it's the first time that we've been introduced to these characters and this world, and so it's got that freshness, right, that newness to it with A Quiet Place. So definitely check it out. It's so tense. It's got so many nerve-wracking moments, and the alien design, as you can see right here, is badass. Okay, just you got the fangs, the teeth, and whatnot. It's just very, very menacing, and the way they have the creatures move and that kind of thing, it's great. It's got a great family dynamic, a lot of emotion, And I like the fact that a lot of the tense moments, you got these simultaneous tense moments going on at the same time. And you get that in the sequel to A Quiet Place Part 2. And thankfully, we're getting a third Quiet Place movie coming up here pretty soon. So that is A Quiet Place. Okay, so moving on to number 4. We've got Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, okay? And this is the middle Planet of the Apes movie in the Matt Reeves Planet of the Apes trilogy. So I think the first one was called like Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and then the one after this is like War for the Planet of the Apes. But I just like there's more things than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes that I like that makes it my favorite of Matt Reeves' Apes trilogy. And you may know Matt Reeves also, he directed Cloverfield before he did these movies. Actually, I should step back. Matt Reeves did not direct the first of these Apes movies, okay? So I can't remember who directed the first one, but he directed, this one, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes, okay? And you can tell because the second and third movies, to me, are much better than the first one, okay? But yeah, so he directed Cloverfield, and then later on after the Apes trilogy, he directed The Batman with Robert Pattinson. And then, of course, he's got a Batman sequel coming out here pretty soon. But this one, of course, the apocalyptic event is a virus that has taken out most of the human race. But with the exception of a few humans, like Jason Clarke, pictured here. This is the main ape here. Oh my God, I'm completely whiffing on his Caesar. Caesar is the main ape in this movie, okay? And he's voiced and acted out by Andy Serkis, who also did Gollum, okay? And so Andy Serkis plays Caesar, the main ape, in this movie, and he's a very compelling character. Andy Serkis and the visual effects crew behind Caesar in this do a masterful job at making you really care about Caesar in this. But so this movie starts out. This is some amount of years after this virus has killed most of the human race, and we have some humans that are still around. And this particular group of humans is in San Francisco, okay? Because that's where the first movie was at. Thank you, Beer Jerka Trev, Caesar. And but they quickly realize they're running out of resources. They're running out of power, okay? And they're going to have a revolt on their hands if they can't get some power. And so they realize that there's a dam slightly north of San Francisco that they can use to provide never-ending power, hydroelectric power through this dam, right? And so they send a team up there to get this dam operational, okay? As part of going up there, one of their party runs into the apes here, okay, and headed up by Caesar, and the movie just kind of jumps off from there, okay. Some turbulence happens, some conflict and that kind of thing, and Jason Clarke is like the leader of the party that's trying to get the dam going. Gary Oldman is also in this movie. I think this movie came out like between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, or maybe came out after The Dark Knight Rises. Who cares, right? But point is, it's got Gary Oldman in it, and he plays kind of a bad guy in there, but he's like the leader of the remaining humans in San Francisco. So you got Jason Clarke, got Gary Oldman, Kerry Russell is in this as well. It's a action-packed movie. It's fucking badass. I mean, it's got a lot of great action sequences in it. And that is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And so we're going to move on to number 3 and say hello to Love and Monsters. Yes. And as you can see in this picture, we got Dylan O'Brien. You can see Michael Rooker way in the background there. We got a little girl here. And then we've got Dylan O'Brien's dog here. I think it's called Boy. I think that's the name of the dog, is just simply Boy. And so this basically the premise of this movie is the apocalyptic event that happened in this movie is there was some kind of event that turned all the bugs and worms and all that stuff that we just take for granted now into these massive creatures that we see in this picture, okay? And so that's forced all humans like underground. Okay. They're all in these nuclear fallout shelters and whatnot. And Dylan O'Brien is in one of these shelters with all these other people. Like it's, I don't know, it's like 13, 14 other people, something like that. Okay. And it's a part of the movie is they flash back and they show like how this whole apocalyptic event with these creatures happened. And so as part of that, all the families are, all the humans are scrambling to find safety and that kind of thing. Well, in all of that madness, right, him and his girlfriend got separated. His girlfriend is played by Jessica Henwick, the very lovely, illustrious Jessica Henwick, that you may know as one of the sand serpents from Game of Thrones. Remember the 3 women with the whips in Game of Thrones? Okay. Trevor's probably going to correct me here. So anyway, so she was one of those in Game of Thrones. Okay. But just look up Jessica Henwick. Okay. Google Jessica Henwick. You'll see who I'm talking about. Jessica Henwick plays his girlfriend that he gets separated from as part of everyone scrambling to survive in this apocalyptic event with all these scary, scary creatures, right? And so then fast forward, a few years or whatever, and Jessica Henwick has fallen in with these other group of humans in this other shelter, okay, that's some number of miles away from where Dylan O'Brien is with his group of people in this shelter. Well, over the course of years, Dylan O'Brien realizes that she's alive and she's with this other group, and so they've been communicating over CB radio the whole time, or shortwave radio, whatever. And so during the course of the years that Dylan O'Brien has been with these people in the shelter, well, all these other people have all hooked up with each other and have developed these couples. Well, he's the odd man out, okay? Because there's no other women there. All the other women have been taken by all the other dudes. It hasn't worked out. So he's like the 13th wheel, I guess, right? And but not just that, but he misses his girlfriend, Jessica Henwick. Okay, and I forget her character's name. And so he misses her, so that's the love part of Love and Monsters, right? And he loves her so much, he cares about her so much that he wants to brave going out in this dangerous world with all these creatures to go be with her, right? And so that's the premise. And so he treks out of the shelter. Now, before he leaves the shelter, they have like a creature attack and that kind of thing. And so just to show that even though these people are in these underground shelters, the creatures up above, they're well aware somehow like that there's humans underground and they're trying to get to them. Okay. So there's an attack by the creatures and they happen to stave them off. Okay. But after that, Dylan O'Brien's like, I got to go. I got to go find my girlfriend. I love her so much. I'm willing to suffer life and limb. So he gets out in the world and he meets up with Michael Rooker and this little girl, finds this dog. And him finding the dog is a great plot device too, because, not only are you worried about Dylan O'Brien, even more than Dylan O'Brien, if you're a dog lover, if you're an animal lover, you don't want anything happening to the dog. And so the dog being in peril creates some really tense moments in this movie. So this is another reason, if you haven't seen Love and Monsters, check it out. So does he reach his girlfriend in the other shelter? You'll have to watch to find out there. Okay. But you get Love and Monsters. It's like on streaming or whatever, or maybe on Netflix or, Amazon Prime. I think I saw it on Amazon Prime. I think that's the last time I watched Love and Monsters. That was like a year ago or something like that. So it may not be on there anymore. But yeah, that's Love and Monsters. Okay, moving on to number 2, I believe. Edge of Tomorrow. Yes. With this guy named Tom Cruise. I don't know. He's this, indie movie actor. Maybe you've heard of him. I don't know. I don't know whatever happened to him. But this is a rather underappreciated Tom Cruise movie. Okay. It doesn't get the love that Top Gun Maverick or any of the Mission Impossible movies gets at all. Okay. And maybe it was the title of the movie that makes it sound like a soap opera, Edge of Tomorrow. It makes it sound like, some show you should watch on NBC at, 11 a.m. in the morning. But yeah, so Beer Drinker Trev mentions Live, Die, Repeat. That's what a lot of people call it there. So that might have gotten it a little bit better box office. I mean, it didn't lose money. It didn't make. I think it barely broke even at the box office, and it made more money than it would have if it didn't have Tom Cruise in it. Okay, so but it did have Tom Cruise, and it had Emily Blunt in it, and so I would definitely check this out. Okay, but before I make that point too much, let me give you like the basic premise of the movie. So in this one, the apocalyptic event is another alien attack. Okay, like A Quiet Place, right? And in this movie, they drop you right into a few years after the alien attack. Okay, and it's kind of like it kind of gave me that Starship Troopers vibe when they drop you into the movie, because it's the world of humans. They're armored up, right? They're fortified. They've got this military force, this international military force that's coming together to fight these aliens and that kind of thing. And Tom Cruise, he starts off, he's like a colonel, like a lieutenant, something like that. He's an officer of some sort, right? And he is like a public relations guy for this military force. He goes on CNN and Fox News and goes out there and it tries to rally up support for the military, tries to get people recruited for the military and that kind of thing. He's a kind of a war. I was going to say war correspondent, but he's not really that. He's part of the military. He's a PR guy. He sees no danger whatsoever. He gets to travel and stay at the swankiest hotels and go on CNN and Fox News and whatever, right? Okay, and beer drinking trail. This movie's got the late great Bill Paxton in it. So Bill Paxton shines in this movie. So yeah, I love it. Always love a Bill Paxton mention, and he's from Fort Worth. Okay, where I'm recording this episode from here. So he's one of Bill Paxton's. He's a proud Fort Worthian, if that's what you call it. So Tom Cruise is the PR guy. Emily Blunt, she plays like this badass that's in the military, who has got this. She's notorious. She's popular. She's this well-renowned hero. Okay, Bill Paxton is he's a sergeant, something like that. In the military, and he's tasked with training up Tom Cruise. Well, they have to fight these aliens, and they have like this the big invasion that's taking place. It's like this last great offensive against these aliens that are threatening to take over the world and destroy the entire human race. Well, they have this last great offensive that takes place like in France or England or something like that. And they make it look like it's like D-Day, okay? Like it's a Normandy invasion, okay, with all this air power coming in there, and to get these soldiers like Tom Cruise and all his fellow soldiers dropping in off all this air power, all these aircraft, and onto this beach like Normandy. And basically that's what you're seeing here in this picture right there, is like just this massive attack on the beach trying to go after the aliens and that kind of thing. And as it happens, as we get further into the movie, this movie turns into like an alien invasion, action-packed, fiery, kinetic version of Groundhog Day, where Tom Cruise, minor spoiler, he gets killed, but he gets soaked with this blood of one of the bigger of the aliens. And because he gets soaked with this blood, now he's got this power to live until he's killed. And when he gets killed, he instantly gets resurrected back to the day before this big invasion and whatnot. And so because of that, he uses that to become this ultimate warrior, right? And uses that to try to defeat the aliens and that kind of thing. And it's really badass. My explanation is not doing it justice, but you got to check out Edge of Tomorrow. I want you Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat is like the subtitle that a lot of people call it Live, Die, Repeat instead of Edge of Tomorrow. I want there to be so much demand, like in streaming and Blu-ray sales and 4K DVD sales, and maybe they'll make another one. Okay. Now I know that There's been talks with Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise to make another one, but I think the thing that's holding them back is just the cost, okay? Because they need to make it bigger than this one. And when you watch this movie, you could tell it cost a lot of movie. The money that they spent on this movie is on the screen. And obviously, as you would imagine, a big chunk of it is Tom Cruise, okay? Or maybe he got, money on the back end. He gets like a percentage of the gross or something like that. Who knows? I'm sure he's probably got that and upfront money because he's Tom Cruise, okay? So yeah, but so maybe hope we'll see a Edge of Tomorrow 2, okay, someday here. But for right now, you just got to watch Edge of Tomorrow, and definitely check it out. Okay, so that is Edge of Tomorrow. It's not a soap opera. It's a badass post-apocalyptic science fiction movie starring Tom Cruise. All right, and finally, coming in at number 1, a movie that I'm sure none of you have ever heard of. The Matrix. Yes. Maybe you've heard of The Matrix. And, of course, right here, the post-apocalypse or the apocalyptic event in this movie is that the machines, the computers, have taken over. And humans are being used in some capacity, okay? Now, in the very slight chance that someone has not seen this movie, I'm not going to spoil it, okay? But yes, there's humans, that are in mass. They're in this mass sticky situation, okay? And and yeah, beer drinking Trev. Nobody can be told what the Matrix is, and that phrase holds special relevance right now because I cannot tell you what the Matrix is if you haven't seen the movie because that's totally going to ruin it. Okay, so but I can tell you what this beer is. So I'm going to take a little swig off this bad boy. Oh yeah, I'm getting parched. Got to stay hydrated. But so as you see here, obviously it stars Keanu Reeves, okay, and he is Neo. You have Lawrence Fishburne as oh my God, Morpheus. There we go. We've got Trinity. You've got Cypher, played by Joe Pantoliano, who was actually in. So the Wachowski brothers. Now they're the Wachowski sisters because they transitioned. The Wachowski brothers is who directed The Matrix. Well, right before they directed The Matrix, they had a movie called Bound. About a couple of lesbians. They take down this mafioso guy, and he's played by Joe Pantoliano, who's Cypher in The Matrix here. Okay, and but kind of going off course here. But so Neo plays like this hero of this movie. Okay, that has to help out the human race. Okay, and they basically he's termed the One. They call him he's the One. Okay, according to Morpheus. And then you have this character called the Oracle that Morpheus goes to try to prove that Keanu is the One, okay, to save the human race from this big pickle that they're in. They're all in the Matrix, okay, and this big this apocalyptic event caused by these machines has these humans all trapped in that kind of thing, and so they have to be liberated, right? And I'm dancing around, okay, and I'm sure people who have seen The Matrix are kind of slightly annoyed with me, like just stop dancing around it, Van, okay. But I'm not gonna give it away, okay. But I will say this is a very action-packed post-apocalyptic movie, okay. As you can see, you got Neo right there, and he's got a couple of twin automatic weapons. Those are actual assault weapons, okay? So those are actual assault weapons, and that are used, not AR-15s. Okay, those are automatic weapons. AR-15s are semi-automatic. Okay, so take that, Biden, and all you anti-2A dumbasses.
I'm a dumbass.
Yeah, don't be
Homo.
And be against the 2A. But I digress. Okay, so and you know what? I'm sure as you've noticed, if you've seen any of my movies, Merica, spoiler warning, I will dip in every once in a while with the conservatives, viewpoint. And if you don't like it, don't watch. Okay. Anyway. So we've got Neo here, and yeah, he's got a couple of actual assault weapons. Okay. And this is all part of a scene where he's got to get it in a big shootout with what are called agents, okay? And if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about when I say agents and Morpheus and all that, and Trinity, that's all the more reason for you to watch The Matrix here. But yeah, it's got so many cool shootouts and action scenes, and these are revolutionary action scenes that revolutionized the action that you see in movies. We check out the old live chat here. So, beer drinking Trev, what if I told you there are people out there that don't like The Matrix? I would tell you that we have some morons out there then. Because how can you not like The Matrix? Okay. I can see that not liking sardines, not liking pineapple on your pizza, not liking people who use the word literally too much. I mean, I could see how you'd literally not like those people. Okay. Oh yeah, Beer Drinking Trev has got a couple of other suggestions. Book of Eli, Oblivion. Yeah, those are good movies, but just I don't consider them part of my top 5. But Book of Eli is a great example of one of those apocalyptic movies where the color is completely washed out of the movie, and it works for that movie. But if you don't like movies that are pretty colorless, and it's got this like sepia tone or however the hell you say that throughout the whole movie. If you don't mind that, Book of Eli is a good movie. And Denzel Washington and Mila Kunis and Gary Oldman are good in that. Hey, another post-apocalyptic movie with Gary Oldman, just like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Okay, Oblivion. That's another Tom Cruise post-apocalyptic movie. Man, wait, get those tongue twisters out of there. So Tom Cruise, he plays like he's I guess like a guardian of Earth, the post-apocalyptic Earth, and he's monitoring the Earth to look out for human rebellion or signs of human rebellion, something like that. So I'm doing a terrible description of the movie Oblivion, but yeah, it is it's a post-apocalyptic movie right there. Beer Drinking Trev, I thought Book of Eli was a better second time watch after knowing the ending. Yeah, I liked it better the second time too because I after watching it the first time and going into it the second time, I realized what they were going for in the movie, and also the second time I didn't have the expectation I had before watching it the first time that this is going to be like some slam bang wall to wall action movie, okay? Because it's not that. It's more moody. It's a very slow burn. And especially at the beginning of the movie, it's a very slow, morose kind of beginning to the movie, and it's pretty brutal. I mean, it's Denzel Washington takes care of business. He's quite the action hero in this, and there's quite the twist at the end. Couple of big twists at the end there. So, but yeah, check out Book of Eli. But but back to the Matrix here. It had 3 sequels to this. So the Matrix is the best one. It kind of goes in descension order as far as the quality of these, in my opinion. I think that the original Matrix is the best one. It's worlds better than the other 3. Okay, the Matrix reboots, or what is it? The Matrix Rebooted, is that the second one? Or the Matrix Reloaded, that's the second one. That's pretty good. Not near as good as the first one. Then everything just crashes and burns from there. I mean, it's a pretty bad.
Crash and burn, huh, Mav?
Yeah, it's so because the next one is like the Matrix Revolutions. That one sucked. Okay, so right there at that point, pretty much the Matrix movies went from
she's gone from suck to blow.
Yes, and then the very worst Matrix movie is the most recent one. Was it Matrix? Was it Resurrections or some shit like that? It's not even worth knowing the fucking title. It's so fucking bad. They should have just left the Matrix movies alone. Okay, they should have learned from the fact that the third Matrix movie that came out like 2003, 2004, something like that, was a giant pile of dog shit. They should have learned from that. Like, don't make another Matrix movie. But Keanu was like in the middle of redoing all his movies. You know, he did another Bill and Ted. He's what's the other one he's gonna do pretty soon? Bill and Ted. Obviously, he did The Matrix. I think he's going to do a Constantine 2 coming out here. So yeah, it's so I think he's right in the middle, like just doing all these reboots of the movies that made him Keanu Reeves. Okay, and unfortunately, yeah, he made another Matrix movie, and God, it's so fucking terrible. And actually, it was only made by one of the Wachowskis. So, like I said, they're the Wachowski sisters now, not the Wachowski brothers. And I think it was Andy Wachowski, or what's her fucking name now? Andrea, who gives a fuck, right? One of the Wachowskis. The other one hated the script or didn't want to be part of it anymore. So we have one singular Wachowski that's making this last one. Beer Drinking Trip, Hardball too. Yeah, they're cool. Maybe all right. Maybe I'd like to see him make Street Kings too. Okay, Street Kings is a underappreciated Keanu Reeves movie by David Ayer where he plays like this hard edge cop in L.A. That's a great movie. So I like to see. Actually, I think there is a Street Kings too, but it doesn't have Keanu Reeves in it. Okay, so. But anyway, I keep going off of these tangents. So yeah, check out the Matrix, and I would check out I would check out the 2 sequels just because the Matrix Reloaded and the Matrix Revolutions do have some pretty cool visual effects, and I think they still hold up for the most part right there. But the whole concept of the Matrix was just mind blowing when I saw it. I was like, holy shit, because before I saw The Matrix, the marketing for the movie was fantastic because it worked on me. It had me wondering, what is The Matrix? What is it? Because in the trailers, is Lawrence Fishburne and Morpheus like, do you want to take the red pill? Want to take the blue pill? If you take the blue pill, you wake up and you stay, stay where you're at or whatever. If you take the red pill, you wake up in Neverland. We'll see how far the rabbit hole goes and that kind of thing. And so at that point, watch the trailers. I was like, holy shit, what's the rabbit hole? Like, what the fuck? Oh, you're gonna, in my back in that day, you're gonna get mine at $8, okay, to watch this movie. And it was so badass. It was so cool. I remember first time I saw the trailer for The Matrix, I was watching the Mel Gibson movie Payback at the theaters, and the Matrix trailer came up, and I was like, right after that Matrix trailer came out, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go see the movie. I hope that movie comes out in 10 minutes. I want to see it right now, and little did I know how much I was gonna love the Matrix, and little did I know I was gonna watch it like 5,113 times after that. So with that, that has been my top 5 post-apocalyptic movies right there. So yeah, hey, get in the live chat, let me know what you thought of my list. Any other suggestions, like Beer Drinking Trev is let me know of some that he would put in the list there. Pardon the beer burp there. And then you can live chat with me in YouTube as well, not just Rumble. But you better do it fast because we're wrapping this bad boy up right here. And go out there and hey, just check out all the post-apocalyptic movies that you want to check out there, and hey, comment below this episode with any other post-apocalyptic movies that you like, because hey, comment to me and I'll probably look at your comments. Oh my God, how could I forget to put that in my top 5? That is a fantastic movie to check out. Okay, so let me check out the live chat here. And we will see and make sure that we've got that going on. All right. And see here. No chats there. Okay. All right. Well, so let's get, let me show you here about Little Movies Merica. We've got www.moviesmerica.com. You can go here to this website, and that is where you can check out my audio-only versions of my spoiler-free reviews, my Movies Merica spoiler-free reviews that come out on Sundays in the afternoons, okay? And actually, that reminds me, so I am going to be on vacation starting tomorrow, so there will not be a spoiler-free review this Sunday, and hence there will not be a Movies Merica spoiler warning next Thursday. Okay. But a week from this Sunday, I will have that's when I'm going to start up my Movies America spoiler-free warnings again, or spoiler-free reviews again. And then 2 weeks from today will be my next Movies America spoiler warning. I haven't decided what movie I'm going to do quite yet, but you will eventually find out. I definitely want you to check those out. Okay, but I would recommend checking out my Movies America episodes on Rumble or YouTube. So, because that way you get to see my smiling mug. Yeah, there you go. As opposed to just checking out the podcast on moviesmerica.com. Okay. And if you want to listen to the audio only, it's also on Apple Apple Podcast and Spotify and iHeartRadio and all the usual suspects where you can find podcasts. Okay. Also, I'm on on Al Gore's worldwide interweb on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. At Movies America is how you can find me there, or just look up Movies America on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I'm on Facebook as well. Okay, and let's go over here, and I'll remind you here. Oh, yep, let's get that off of there. All right, tdpn.locals.com. Okay. Check out our website there with all our fantastic content, okay? Like I told you about before. And again, if you go there and you enter in promo code TDPN, you're going to get 1 free month membership, okay? So, all right. And what do we have next here? We've got at Til Death Network. Yes, go to solo.to/Til Death Pod Network. And basically, the reason you want to go there is because that's the one-stop shop for the links to go to everything Til Death Podcast Network, because that is what's bringing you this Movies America spoiler warning show right here. You are on the Til Death Podcast Network right now. And all the links for that are at solo.to/Til Death Pod Network. All right. Moving on. If you go to solo.to/Til Death Studios, you can go there if you want to have Ian do any kind of cool graphics work for you, some visual work for you. Examples would be the background that you see here behind me, the Movies America background behind me, the overlay that says solo.to/Til Death Studio, the overlay up at the very top, up there at the very top that says tdpn.locals.com with the Movies America logo. That's the kind of stuff that Ian can do for you. The intro that you saw earlier at the very beginning, that is all of Ian's doing. And if you want anything like that, if you're starting up a YouTube show, a Rumble show, whatever, go to solo.to/Til Death Studios, and he'll get any work like that for you done. Okay. And then we have solo.to/I'm Shawn Cav, and that he is one of the other. He's part of the other part of the unholy trinity of Til Death Podcast Network, and he's got his various shows there, like Sippin with Shawn and other things that he's doing. And so you can go to solo.to/I'm Shawn Cav to just get all the links to everything that Shawn wants you to check out. He's got some great stuff for you to check out there. And moving on, if you go to solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist, again, that's the one-stop shop for all the links that has to do with the Whiskey Capitalist. And the Whiskey Capitalist is the show that Ian and Shawn do every Monday night and every Wednesday night that goes over the hot button issues and political issues and that kind of thing. And you can check that out at 8 Eastern, I believe, every Monday and Wednesday nights. Okay. And moving on here, we got the solo.to/Til Death Podcast. And that's the one-stop shop for the Til Death Podcast links for everything associated with that. The Til Death Podcast, that is the podcast that Ian and his wife, Jen, do every Saturday afternoon. And I'm probably going to screw up the time, but I believe they do that at 5 Eastern. So every other Saturday. Okay. And I should mention, so they do that every other Saturday at 5 Eastern, and they go over like marriage topics, husband and wife stuff, hey, don't fight when your husband leaves the toilet seat up and, stuff like that, I'm sure they go over much more advanced things than that, okay? And they do, okay? And they cover like hot button issues and that kind of thing as well. And then, don't forget, Shawn has his Sippin with Shawn show, okay, every other Friday. And that, I believe, is at 5:30 or 5 o'clock Eastern. If you go to, you should look up Shawn, or you just go to solo.to/I'm Shawn Cav, and I'm sure you'll find a link there about his Sippin with Shawn show, okay? Alrighty then. And so let's check out. I want to make sure that we have everything all in place here. Let me check out. Beer drinking Trev. I've got a few minutes. Go boil an egg. Yes, absolutely. And so then, and also he says, what we've got here is an orgy of links. Yeah, exactly. So I know that was a lot to throw at you guys right there. So, but hey, we've got a lot of things for you to check out. Okay, it's like this is like the Til Death Podcast Network amusement park. Okay, we got rides over there and rides over there and all the rides. Oh my God, all this stuff you can check out and stuff. Hey, but we don't have long lines for our rides. Okay, this isn't Disney World. You don't have to wait for 3 hours and have to smell other people's farts waiting in line to get on Space Mountain. Okay. All right. So let me go and rack through my old brain, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. All right. So I think that will do it. Okay, everybody. And hey, with that, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. Have a good one.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.